X.com. I'm going to start calling it X. Have you started calling it X?
No, I can't. I like the mental, it's
Can't.
just too much history. Yeah,
It's like you physically can't do it, right?
I
Like,
can't. What do you
it's
call a
weird.
tweet? You just call it a stroke?
Call it
Like a mini X? I don't understand.
it's retarded. I don't know. It's like, I mean, calling it a post is honestly fine. Like, it's definitely boring and it kind of loses the whole, like, what makes Twitter Twitter. It's like part of what makes Twitter Twitter. It's kind of like a tweet is like a whole concept. It's like, it's a thing, you know? This episode is brought to you by Smile.io, the loyalty platform trusted by thousands of the fastest growing Shopify Plus businesses to increase repeat purchases, reward VIPs, and build lasting customer relationships. Smile helps businesses become more profitable while discounting their products less. You got to be careful with the discounts. You don't want to push too hard on the discount pedal. If you're ready to turn transactional sales into lifetime customers, start building a more profitable business with Smile.io today. Dude, it's nice to finally freaking chat, man.
Well, we've been chatting. This is the funny part. Been chatting for a while.
We chat all the time. X.com. I'm going to start calling it X. Have you started calling it X?
No,
Twitter for how long have you been on Twitter?
since 2009.
2009. Oh shit. Okay. I don't remember the year for me. Wait a minute.
I just remember it's my freshman year of college. So it was 2009.
I think I'm like 14. Damn, dude. Anyways, so do you call it X or?
I can't. I like the mental, it's just too much history. Yeah,
It's like you physically can't do it, right? Like,
I can't. What do you
It's
call a
weird.
tweet? You just call it a stroke?
Call it-
Like a mini X? I don't understand.
It's retarded. I don't know. It's like, I mean, calling it a post is honestly fine. Like, it's definitely boring and it kind of loses the whole, like, what makes Twitter Twitter. It's like part of what makes Twitter Twitter. It's kind of like a tweet is like a whole concept. It's like, it's a thing, you know?
Yeah, it made up that whole category. I think that was a
Right.
terrible branding move. Like, I get that you own the domain x.com. Awesome.
Right.
But save that for Grok. Like, he could have made X the Grok brand.
I actually had never considered that. I don't think Grok was in his head though when he started. Well, it was all probably somewhere in his head, but like when he did the X thing, I think that was a good couple years before all this AI stuff ramped up.
Yeah, the timeline's really kind of iffy. I don't remember if he bought Twitter before the divorce with OpenAI, because he was an investor in OpenAI.
He was.
Yeah, I just don't have it like the right events in order to remember if Grok was after X.
Yeah, I just think the name. I just feel like the name Grok he just came up with like in the last year ever since he's like. I think once because this whole time he's like, am I gonna have to do an AI thing? And he's like trying to avoid it. And then at some point it became clear to him that he had no choice but to do it. I think is my that's how I'm assuming it went down. And I feel like that was the point where he's like, all right, let me pick a name. Whereas like the X.com thing has been simmering for him for like forever. And then like, yeah, I know I feel like he really has added a ton of features. Like I'm using it and I'm going to myself, I have a paid subscription. I have no ads. I have editing, but all the dumb stuff, editing a tweet, undoing a tweet. And now I have an AI thing. And it's like, and I know he really wants to make it like the everything app, like in China, whatever that app is, where you can pay your rent, pay your bill. Like,
WeChat.
WeChat. I'm sure he's going to pull that off. So and then when I saw the merch store and the fact it was on Shopify, it looked so nice. I was like, you know what? I like the brand too. Like I like the way it looks and stuff like that. But even though I decided, I was like, I'm going to start calling it X. The next time I like said something about Twitter, I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't. It's Twitter. Like I can't.
Tweet pay, tweet shop, whatever.
That was so dumb.
Have you?
I wonder Yeah, sorry.
I was going to ask, like, have you figured out how to filter out the garbage, like low quality viral content that they try to push on your feed? Like, have you found a way
You
to
know,
defeat that?
it's funny you mentioned that, dude, because I haven't seen that for, and maybe I'm scrolling less because the way I would see it before is that it wouldn't be till I sort of scrolled through all the like Shopify type stuff that it almost seemed like it fell back into another mode or something. And I might have been scrolling less lately, but I did click not interested like a billion times. And then like it still kept coming for like a month or so. And I hadn't even thought about it until just now that I don't really see that stuff on there anymore.
I felt like at one point I was like fighting the ocean, like trying to build a sandcastle in the ocean. It's like, you say not interested, it'll just give you a different form of crap content. I never liked basketball. Why is it giving me NBA insider like meme stuff? I don't know. Like if I click not interested on that, it's going to find the next like F1 series. I don't know. Like it's going to find the next like low quality thing. Like I'm sure like middle-aged men in America love this stuff.
Nice white man.
And it's correct. Like the persona is correct. It's just like, dude, I'm a weirdo. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I'm breaking your algorithms. It's like you can say not interested in the subcategory, but the category of dumb shit, you can't like.
Yeah.
Say
KFC fights or whatever. I don't know.
But now I have like the opposite problem, which is that so I used to use TikTok and then I stopped and I started using the Twitter video thing, like just like my like 30 minutes of downtime during the day where I'm just watching stupid shit like intentionally. When TikTok got banned or whatever happened, I switched to the Twitter video and I actually liked that it was sort of just like not work related. Like it wasn't very well correlated with my like regular Twitter feed. And I liked that, but now it's like all business stuff. It's all startup stuff. So if I'm trying to unplug, I don't want to use, so then I start using TikTok again for that.
Oh, so you can unplug. Maybe I haven't figured that part out yet. You know, see, you like a personal Twitter mode and like a work Twitter mode because they're so similar. It's so unique. Like LinkedIn is like, this is going to be work crap. You just know it is. Like Twitter, right. Yeah, it's like, it's a little bit ambiguous. It could be either or.
Right.
But
yeah. So do you follow like a range of stuff on Twitter or is it all Shopify stuff, developer stuff?
I don't like do a good job of curating my follows. I kind of rely on the algorithm to be like, all right, somebody in my network liked this tweet. Therefore, It's probably something cool. And then if I like see that name pop up like over and over again, I might follow them.
Is it all like tech work related or is it like, do you
pretty
follow, like
much
NASCAR? Yeah. Okay.
No. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like if I want to follow that kind of stuff, I'll go to like Reddit, I think. Like personal,
right.
Like NFL or whatever.
Are you a Reddit guy?
Oh, I love Reddit. I've been in Reddit longer than Twitter. Yeah. It's bad.
Nice.
I want to quit,
I wish I was a Reddit guy because like I'll comment every once in a while on some random thing and then I never respond but like I wish because like if I have a friend of mine that just deep dives Reddit all the time and it's like you're probably getting more done, like more productive in some ways.
Yeah, maybe. It gives you that feeling of that. And then like the more I read into it, I'm like, a lot of these people have no idea what they're talking about. Like, yeah, especially if you're looking on like the JavaScript specific ones or like you start getting into one field really deeply and then you start to look at the posts about that subject, you're like, actually, a lot of this stuff is not correct. Imagine that applied to all of the different subreddits. There's a lot of stuff that's like not...
That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever looked at a topic on Reddit that like I knew a lot about already. Although like I'd go on the Shopify Reddit, but like I was just there to like sort of promote things in like as non-promotional a way as possible. But I wasn't really like interested in it. But
oh yeah, they are like, that's so strict. Like they'll have bots that detect URLs and
and I wasn't and I wasn't like doing dumb shit like that. It was just like trying to legitimately be helpful with replies, and then if it was something was very relevant to like Mesa, that the product I was promoting, then I'd like mention it directly or something. But nothing, not like ultra spam guy mode or anything like that.
Yeah, you could sniff that out on the Shopify. Like, do you do Shopify community forums? Not the dev ones, but the merchant ones?
I did for a while. I had a good little stretch there, and I haven't done shit for a long time. Which, what do you?
I try to, but it's just so loud and it's so fast. Like people definitely have botified it. At least it seems like it's botified, or at least notifications are going off. And
they migrated that one to Discourse just recently, right?
Mm-hmm. So you could, like, every single Discourse category is a JSON and RSS feed. So you could do the same thing, get notifications on the keywords, but like, even then, if you have a life of any kind, it seems like you can't be helpful, or at least you can't, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and I did it very intentionally because I was trying to build up some cred, that type of thing. Like, it has to be something that, you just very intentionally do it with kind of like a focused goal. And otherwise you're going to end up like, I still get a lot of leads for like flow related stuff from the posts that I did. And the flow stuff, cause most of like the year and a half, I was doing like Mesa related posts, and I still get a few for those, but then I did flow related stuff for, I don't know, like 6 months or 9 months. I don't know. And I get pings on those from time to time.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I try to avoid doing flow consulting work now, because with all the Claude Code stuff, like clicking around manually in the interface just seems insane to me. Like, I think if flow is great, if you can pop in, spend a few minutes, get something working that solves your use case, it's absolutely magical. And like as an app, like to create them so that your customers can do those things is a magical. But like if you're consulting and you're spending like billing like 5 hours for some complicated workflow, it's like, and now I'm thinking I could do this in 20 minutes with Claude Code, because it just, the nature of it. And like testing is like, if you've ever built a complicated flow and you're like copying and pasting code in, hit rerun, refresh, like doing that 20 times. Like I built out all these CLI tools to test run codes locally and stuff like that. So anyways, and I built a little open source thing called Shopworker to basically do automations. So now like when I get an email about flow, I'll be like, well, I'm doing most of my consulting with this thing now. Like, let me know if you're interested type of thing.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I've been following you and David talking on this pod and hearing about the Shopworker over time, following your tweets. Yeah, for sure. Because I've been super curious about it. Because I also believe that's like the step. I've talked to Paul at last Unite, not the last one, but the year before. And I was like, so why, like, what would it take for anybody to like programmatically create flows? He's like, not possible. Checksums. We make sure no one could do that because we only have validation on one way. For us to computationally do validation from a programmatic workflow would be a nightmare for us. Please don't do this. Just don't try. And I was like, but I had the same thought as you. Is like, there's gotta be a way to do this. And
so I may have potentially, not confirming or verifying, it may have been in a dream, and I'm recalling it weirdly, that I saw an instance of Shopify with the checksum removed. And that if that were to ever happen, it would be pretty cool.
I thought I saw Paul mention something on LinkedIn about like they're going that direction. They're trying to.
Did he say that?
I'm on vacation for this past week. I skimmed over it. It was some kind of conversation. He didn't post it like as on his timeline, but I saw him interact with somebody else saying like they're experimenting with some new direction. It seemed like they were talking about promptifying workflows.
Yeah. So, well, if you said it publicly, then it's cool. But yeah, basically, there's a version of it that has the checksum removed, and then I mean, it wouldn't be a surprise to anybody if Sidekick got flow support, right? Like, everybody's like. That's probably going to happen at some point relatively soon. And I think like, I mean, who knows? Like maybe it's going to be totally perfect. And I mean, you would expect that to be the main place you'd want to go to do a prompt for a flow. But like, I still think it'd be cool if third parties could build out their own things, right? Against like building out the JSON, because like one of the surprising things with all this AI explosion is like sometimes the third party does a better job, maybe even just temporarily, and then you can learn from them. Like the way Cursor did their thing as a third party, they outcompeted the first party, like Microsoft VS Code. You know what I mean?
Yeah, walk me through what you think by I'm trying to understand.
I just think that if you can upload JSON without a checksum and then you can generate that JSON, like you could build your own little thing to generate JSON using
hmm
Claude Code or,
hmm
you know what I mean?
hmm
And that maybe would be a lot better than whatever comes native into Sidekick.
Yes. Yeah. Like,
And,
yeah. It seems like Shopify will always create the core thing for free. It will
right,
cover 80% or 70% of the use cases,
right,
but that remaining bit, that's where the opportunity lies for a partner to be like, all right, you have an ERP that's
right,
super complicated. Guess what?
right.
I got you covered. All these edge cases that Shopify can't focus on because they're catering to a much wider market. It's still an opportunity. Like template, like printing orders. What's the Shopify printing order app called? Is it called Order Printer? I think that's called.
Sounds somewhat familiar. I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's
Sometimes I feel like I haven't seen very many apps.
I feel like the same. I feel like I've only touched like 3 parts of Shopify. I've been in it for 5 years. I'm like,
That's what I mean. Like somebody will ask me something and it sounds like it should be really basic, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm only 2.5 years in. Like,
right.
you know.
Like, what do you mean inventory? I'm like, inventory just works, right? And they're like, no, it's like,
Right.
there's all kinds of management and like locations. And I'm like, oh, and production
Right.
sometimes. Maybe there's not production. Maybe it's dropship, like digital versus physical. There's a lot of different moving parts. And I'm
Right.
like, oh,
Like,
so it's
right.
not just that. It's a lot to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you haven't messed with the product APIs much or the inventory APIs much, something that like surprised me is that like, did you know that you have to like activate the inventory before you can set inventory levels in the API?
You mean like publish it?
Not to publish, it's actually called activate. Like the mutation is like activate inventory or something like that. And it's just like when I ran across it, I was like, that's weird. Like you can't just send inventory levels in a thing, like in a
To a draft product, basically. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's still a draft, like visibility draft, but
Yeah.
it sounds like it's a grandfathered thing, like a grandfathered status. It's been around since the beginning, and they're like, well, you know.
Well, it could be, but like inventory does need to be activated in a specific location. Cause like if you have 2 locations, the inventory,
Oh.
it's not like the inventory is 0 by default. It doesn't exist, which kind of
Right.
is probably more like what the model, underlying model.
Yeah. Inventory is null, not 0.
Right.
It's unavailable.
Right.
See, I'm already learning stuff with you guys.
Yeah, like I just, since you mentioned like that you don't do much with products and stuff like that, I figured like that, But anyways, dude, so it's funny. I went through your Twitter beforehand to just like find the, things in case I ran out of things to talk about or whatever. And you have very consistently solid tweets, like, because like I'll see your tweets on my feed, but they're just mixed into the feed. But looking at them all in a row, I'm like, these are all good. Like, even somebody with cool tweets, it'll be like maybe like 50% of them are cool, 50% of them are like, dude, shut up. Like that's probably how I am. But I looked through yours and I was like, every single one is just great. It's just a great little tweet.
I'm flattered. My friends and family don't believe you. My brother's like, he even pulled out like a recent, like I think it was like Thanksgiving or something. He's like reading through the tweets because they're not in tech. They have no idea what I'm talking about. They're like,
Right.
dude, you're speaking mumbo jumbo. 2 people like it. Like, just stop talking.
Dude, it's so funny because I know exactly how that feels too, to be like, oh my gosh, I got 100 views. Like, this is what am I wasting my life on? And then like, when you realize, even if there's one actual human being like there, let alone if there's like 30 that are seeing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it means everything, and it's really like, it's stupid to focus on the numbers, but that's the most obvious, like, for like for a normie, basically,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like, I get that.
Yes. I wish I would have like done that sooner, because like there was like things to me that were cool when I was younger. I didn't really like tweet about it. So I'm like, who cares? But
Right.
you never know what's going to happen. You never know when you're going to try out Riverside for the first time with the buddy you've been talking with for a while. That's the same things. You have just no clue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just sort of a reflex for me now. It's like my brain goes down a certain path of like, this is new or this is funny or this is like whatever. And I just want to share it. Like, I need to put it out into the world. I don't know if that's some weird problem with me or I don't know what it is. And then before you get it out, it's like your head doesn't like continue. It's like you're stuck somehow in some line of thinking. And then once I get it out, I'm like, okay, it's out. Now I can think about the next thing.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like once I feel like
Okay.
almost like catharsis when you like get it out there. You're like, okay, that's resolved. I can at least
Yes.
get that off my mind onto whatever.
Yes. Exactly.
I
Yeah,
feel
that's exactly it. But anyway, so I put together, I wasn't intending to just talk about all my own stuff for like, I put a whole list of starting with your 5-year mark. I saw the, congratulations, a little golf clap.
Oh,
Congratulations on the 5-year mark.
thanks, bud.
That's cool. I was like, Dylan's a good dude. I'm really happy for him. Also, I'm very jealous and, fuck him. But at the same time, that's my thing now. That's my thing is I want to get this app thing going. Like, but when I'm literally genuinely happy for someone. And the next thought is, fucker, it's like, that's just how I feel.
I'm going to be jealous of you once shop worker, cause that's just, it's just such a widespread use case. And it's like so complex. It's hard. It's gonna be hard to replicate. I just think I think it's gonna be a winner for you. I really do. I think you should publish it. I think you should. Yeah, I think it's time to publish it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, it is technically published. It's on GitHub. But...
Well, I mean, like, if it's possible to publish it as a Shopify app.
Oh, as an app. Right. Yeah. So I was working on that. I was doing a Docker thing and with a Claude because I was like, well, if I publish as an app, it needs to be usable by people. So then I was like, I need to just let them prompt to create stuff. And so then I was like, okay, but because there's 2 ways to use it. You could just use it locally in your CLI. That's like the way I want to use it. And I was like, okay, let me jerry rig a CLI inside of a container that the app talks to. And I kind of got it like most of the way there. And then like, I had like, this is what I'll do things. I'll be like, is anybody interested in this? I got a couple likes. Cool. One person DM'd me. I was like, cool. And I was like, which store do you want to have it access on? Okay. Whatever. And then I was like, okay, let me actually deploy this because I had it working locally. I hadn't deployed all the containerized stuff yet to like fly.io. And so then I was like, I emailed him back or I messaged him. He didn't get back to me. And I was like, okay, if he doesn't get back to me, I'm not gonna like, I want there to be a real person on the line, like a real bite in order to like, and then I'll spend 8 hours fixing it or whatever. But if there's not a single person that actually is replying to my message about like, then I'll just kind of, and then maybe it'll circle back. Like maybe it'll circle back later. So I'll get another bite, but I kind of do things like kind of progressively like that, which is probably stupid.
No, that's smart. I think the right way to do it is to get 5 to 10. 10 seems like a lot, but maybe even 5, 3 to get like deep connections with at least 3 people, 3 merchants that absolutely need what you're building.
Right.
Have them try it before it's published. Then you have the reviews lined up as soon as out of the gate.
Right.
Let's get the reviews. Right. I think, I could be wrong, but I think there's probably some kind of internal promotion algorithm. If you have a high velocity of reviews after publishing, you have a higher chance of getting that front page. And then it's like a moonshot. Like, I can't even imagine the growth you'd hit. I've never been on the home page, but I think it would be really big.
You're in the customer accounts, like promoted section?
I'm in the security and privacy, I believe, and I think one other, but definitely security and privacy, and maybe fraud, top 50 fraud.
Okay.
But it's still a niche on top of that.
The App Store category?
Well, I'm just saying, like, even if I'm in the top category for fraud that applies to all stores, not all stores qualify for using my solution for fraud.
Oh, gotcha.
It's not like fraud insurance that applies to every single merchant. It's a tool that only applies to certain types of fraud that are very, very expensive or high risk.
So, dude, how did you get into this?
Oh, man. Okay, so let's go back to 2016. I'm freshly-ish graduated. I started freelancing, but I had this crazy idea with my wife.
Back to the beginning.
This is like 10 years ago. I had this crazy idea with my wife to build a tiny house. And part of that was, okay,
dude, we're like the same person. We're literally like the same person. It's
really
me out. Yeah. I'm a big tiny house guy. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I can tell you about that in a different episode if you want. But anyway, that led to me trying to find a remote. Like, I couldn't concentrate on doing that and following contract work, flying to New York. It was crazy. So I found a local company that was doing a startup that was doing RV rentals. It's called RVShare. Now it's the world's largest RV marketplace.
Bro, I've gone on RVshare a billion times.
Really?
I'm like, whenever I'm like, I need to rent an RV, and I think I might have even used them once. That's crazy. You worked on that?
Yeah, so I was engineer number 1. I was early employee there. And it's based at Akron, Ohio, in my backyard. Now it's based at Austin, but we were purchased into my tenure. So I started working there. I built their search API, built like some like affiliate stuff. But part of the perk of working there is that you get basically a yearly stipend to spend on an RV trip. So I was like, great, I'm going to go out to Seattle. I want to go do like the Oregon coast up and down on like a class B and like just camp on the beach with my girlfriend at the time. But every single RV owner I spoke to was like, we don't book through the platform. Just text me here. We'll just take cash and I'll save you 25% because their commission is 25%. And I was like, oh, shoot. If this is happening in Seattle and Portland, I wonder how widespread this problem is. So the next hackathon, I built like a fraud app that would troll through the messages and find keywords that display the intent of going off platform. So like PayPal, Cash, Direct, etc. And I found somebody in sales that saw this problem too firsthand. He's like, dude, we could probably make a bunch of money for the company if we just basically message these owners and told them knock it off. They get kicked off because they're stealing our marketing revenue or marketing spend. Right. So that's how Scrub Cop was born, was how we called it. So Scrub Cop just found these like suspicious people, owners, and then we went through the queue and messaged them.
Right.
And then someone else is like, Dylan, this looks like fraud over here too. I'm like, yeah, that's self-booking fraud. People are self-booking, siphoning credit cards, stolen credit cards, and making that 20%. Or, like 20%.
Became a fraud guy.
I became a fraud guy. I just like saw the fraud. I tried to make tools in this app.
Oh, cool.
So eventually that became my full-time job. And I implemented ID verification on both the renter and owner side at one point because we found that I went through the whole list. I went through IP detection. I went through VIN detection. I went through like trying to I even made like a machine learning algorithm, which is the best tech at the time based on all these signals to like try to determine fraud on the renter side and owner side. Pictures, because they started putting their phone numbers and stuff in pictures, and phone numbers were the way they circumvented the messaging system to bypass like there was all this crazy stuff, like cat and mouse game. ID verification was great because once you're caught once, it's extremely difficult to get another ID that matches your face, that matches your billing details, and pass again. Like you can commit fraud once and then you're out. I mean, at best case scenario, if you're that brazen. Yeah, I did that for years. I finally solved the problem pretty well by 2019. And then 2020 hit. I had a lot of downtime like everybody else. And I was like looking around the platforms that were easy for developers to pick up.
And when you were doing all this full-time fraud stuff, was it that all at RVShare?
Mm-hmm. Yep, all RVShare.
Gotcha.
So I finished the tiny house. I was traveling with my wife. She was travel nursing. So we would just, spend 3 to 6 months at a place. I was just working at a coffee shops and co-working spaces, that kind of stuff. Yeah, like just made an app that employees could log into, ban or warn or silently ban eventually. There was all kinds of stuff. But
that's so crazy.
So that whole like fraud world put me in that mindset. That was marketplace fraud. It's slightly different. E-commerce fraud I didn't know much about. But I had a feeling that people were ignoring it. Or it wasn't like, not ignored, but like not well understood.
Right.
So I took the best tool that I knew, brought it to Shopify, just kind of on a hunch. Like the right approach is what we've been talking about, which is like, find merchants that are vested in understanding that this solution solves a problem they have. Right. But at the time I was just, engineer with zero e-commerce experience and just built it, published it, took a long time to find the market or understand even like the right words to use. Like I didn't understand merchant's language at all.
It's called Real ID, right?
Yeah, that was the name out of the gate was Real ID.
Oh, okay. Well, you had a good brand right from the get.
Got lucky. because RVShare, I learned from RVShare, like, so their main competitor is Outdoorsy and Austin,
Mm-hmm.
and Outdoorsy just couldn't rank well because RVShare, the title captures the intent, which is to rent an RV. You're sharing your RV. Outdoorsy, you're like, what does that mean? The SEO is not as good. So I learned that like little marketing lesson from the masterminds of RVShare.
That's cool, dude. Damn, and just living the dream ever
Ah,
since.
you know, yeah, I guess I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was like saying, he's like, "Do you want to like build an app?" Or he's like a freelancer, and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, man, he's like, all the app guys are like, they're always like, just desperate for reviews and stuff like that.
That's true.
And I'm like, and it's funny because everybody I ran into at Editions, there was this anxiety related to something with the app. Is AI going to kill it? Do I want Shopify to acquire it, or do I want somebody to acquire it? And like, should they acquire it now, or like, is now the time? Like, there's so much pressure. It's like a bit of a pressure cooker, even though like you could also just be super like lifestyle business about it probably too.
I know both ends of the spectrum. Like I know people that incorporate into Shopify so well, they hardly have any infrastructure, and they literally don't look at their email for like 2 weeks, which I could not comprehend. At the other end, exactly what you're talking about, where it's like we have cutthroat competition,
Right?
or maybe your merchants are like you have a high percentage of revenue to one merchant or three merchants in particular, like they take up like 60% of your revenue or 70%. So you're kind of like on call all the time. Or maybe you're like right at the cusp of like 20 reviews. And it just takes one star to bring your average down to like 3 point.
Right.
Who cares? Because at that point you're at 3.
3 point. Who cares? That's the show title.
The reviews, man. Yeah. I don't know. It depends. If you have an app that applies to every single merchant, that means therefore there's a lot of competition for it and the reviews are paramount. But if you're like super niche,
right,
I don't think it matters nearly as much.
Yeah.
There's downsides to that too. It doesn't grow nearly as fast. I mean, it took me 5 years. Pros out there are probably like laughing, like it took me like 1 year, 2 years to get there at most. It took me a long time.
Right. Yeah. Everybody kind of is on their own journey. It's like, it's dangerous to compare and to feel whatever, like negatively about it, but it's also human nature, so it's like, if you can find a way to just kind of draw inspiration from people that are like a little ahead of you without it like eating you up, then I think that's like the productive way to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good
grass
point.
is always greener, and in some way, I mean, not always, like sometimes it's just,
I don't know.
To just like,
I'm starting to think like more services, like what you're doing. Cause like,
that's funny.
Yeah, it's the grass is, at least you have like closer contact with your customers,
But you're not just saying that, you literally were thinking that you'd prefer to be doing services?
I think to be successful, you can't just provide a product alone. I don't know. Like even Shopify does this. They offer professional services and they offer a product. I think the services kind of give you the baseline understanding of what merchants need. Mm-hmm. And then you build a product that's highly automated that fits it very, very well.
Right.
If you just try to go for product first. Yeah.
But no, that totally makes sense. But like you personally are not thinking like, oh, maybe the grass is greener doing services. Like, yeah, I'm sure.
If you don't rely on reviews, it sounds like way more chill. But I assume like the hardest part, when I remember freelancing years ago, was like knowing where your next client is coming from. Yeah. And it's hard to get a retainer. It's hard to get like committed hours for a long period of time. I assume those are the two big things.
It's horrible. Yeah.
That part sucks. Okay.
Yeah. Well, so I initially was trying to very intentionally doing like smaller jobs for like a larger number of clients. I was juggling like 10, 12 clients at the same time. and which I wanted to do because I wanted to have like, this, my risk diversified, and I really wanted to build it, make it a productized service and things like that. But then I just, an agency got me to do some work, and then I was doing app development. I was like, I like this better, and I don't like getting on a bunch of calls. I'd rather work with like people that I know. So I've mostly been just doing most of my work for one agency. And I guess it's sort of like a job-ish in that sense, but technically, still freelance.
Context switching is so expensive.
Okay. I have so many questions to ask you. It really is. Did you post about doing work trees recently or something like that?
Yeah, dude.
Claude?
Yeah. My buddy and I are having the same problem where, okay, even if you have one Shopify app, if you try to take advantage of work trees to develop multiple Claude features at the same time, you still run into the problem of webhooks responding to the same like static URLs.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So my thought was like, you need like a meta manager that knows based on some like naming system, like you tell them in your prompt, like, okay, you're assigned to just take the next available slot. If it was like really, really smart, like almost like an MCP integration. And then it would be like, okay, feature branch, multiple currencies is assigned to had Halo named terms. So like the grunt branch or the grunt environment that's pre-made. So we can't touch that one. The PR is still open. So I'll go to the next one, which is the marine environment. And I'll open, a PR there. The app is available. And now like, okay, you got X number of functional environments. You still have to do the legwork to create them, but you can at least like expand your number of work trees times that amount. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I want to start like you kind of have to do two things at once if you're working in Claude Code, like a minimum. You don't have to. I mean, you can just sit there and read the code. And actually, I was doing a little bit of that the other day and reading all the code. And I was like, this is good because it's like I'm a little closer to it. But normally I like to switch back to something else. And then, and then I was starting to try to do 3 at a time and then, you see videos of people doing 6 at a time, but I think the 6 at a time people, I think that it's full on vibe coding, like paying zero attention whatsoever. I could be wrong.
Do you think there's influencers paid by affiliate revenue anyway? Or like,
it could be.
They're selling a course. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be complete BS, but I do like, I keep thinking of this analogy of like chess masters that can play 30 games blind simultaneously. And because I've never been a believer in multitasking. I've like for the last decade plus, I'm all about like, I disable my notifications. Like I'm all about deep focus, but I just feel like it's changing now because the thing is going to do a better job than me for the next 2 minutes. So what do you do for the next 2 minutes?
That's true. I definitely feel that. And if you give that break, then it's letting your mind like drift off to like Reddit. For example.
It's like, cause I found myself going to Twitter too much. And, I usually try to go a few times a day, but if I'm clicking at Twitter like every 10 minutes, that's not good. And I was like, I got to find something else to do, like in my little downtime minutes,
Yeah. So I have a tmux window for each thing going on at once. So like the N8 end integrations I was working on, that was going on at the same time as like real ID development at the same time as integration ADIO. So like I'm doing multiple projects that are symbiotic, but they're not touching the same code base. So that way I can maximize the time.
Right. And that's probably a more sane way to do it in general.
But like if you really want to focus and get that one app the best and the quickest, that the work trees has to be the way to do it.
I mean, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just be working out of the same directory, but I'll fire up if I know I'm going to be touching 2 different files or parts of the code base, I'll just run them in parallel or,
Interesting. And they don't collide or like?
No, not if they're working on different files. No.
Interesting.
Sometimes there's a common library you weren't thinking about, and then they're both touching a common library, getting all confused.
Oh man, the scientist mind of me is like, oh, you can't do that. Like your experiments need to be pure, but at a certain point you become like pretty familiar with the code base and you're like, yeah, these 2 things do not touch. And your automated tests will prove that. in the individual PRs anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's like I'm spending more time now thinking about like how to understand the code at a high level, and then how to verify it, how to verify that things are working better.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lot of automated tests for your app?
Absolutely. Yeah. I have a
Nice.
ton of integration tests. The acceptance tests are kind of tricky. I'm glad that Shopify just released the ability to allow a crawler to visit the online store. I think it's only for a short period of time. That does not cover the back end of like logging in, acting as a merchant,
Gotcha.
clicking around.
Gotcha.
I get why. Like that's a huge security concern. So I'm thinking about after I finish this next side project would be something called like Platoon Bridge or Mock Bridge, where it would pretend to be the iframe, like the outer iframe of the app bridge, and mock it as best as it can, provide the same API methods, but allow you to write acceptance tests with a session token that's like, it's fake, but at least your app in development mode could interact with it, like as if it was the real app bridge, as if that merchant's logged in, but they're really not. It's just some local node server that's pretending to be Shopify.
Smart.
It'd be kind of cool.
That's cool. I did do some Playwright stuff the other day with a Shopify admin, and it was running. Like it didn't run in any blocks or anything like that.
Oh, you didn't hit any captchas or anything like that?
Well, I definitely had to manually log in and then 2-factor auth, and then after that, it like reused the session or whatever.
Okay.
And I don't know how it would open a separate Chrome window when it ran.
Yeah, you can have it share the same cookies, the same cookie jar.
Right.
Ew.
Right.
So I'm overthinking it, of course, as usual.
I don't know if you could realistically rely on that though. Like, I feel like it might, but what you're talking about is a more reliable solution.
You're always going to be playing catch up with the latest app bridge changes. Like they may add breaking API changes and stuff. It would be a constant.
Dude, you like pain, man. Like most people never want to they see the app bridge like once every couple years and they just get it to install and they hit a couple annoying errors and they hope to never have to think about it again. And you're like, I'm going to write a super complicated interface to the app bridge and maintain it across versions.
I've evolved with the app bridge because when I started, the app bridge was brand new and I had to basically write an auth library for it. So I've had the chance to evolve with it because at the time their template was Next.js, but the server was Koa. So they had Next.js in the front end and then a Koa backend server. It was so painfully slow to develop. I was just like, pause. I'm just going to build a pure Next.js implementation because Next 11 just came out at that time and it included the server side pages router. So I spent too long making a template library. I've learned with it.
Yeah.
If I was a newbie now, I would not try this. It would not be fun.
Yeah. Right. So you understand it intricately. Like when I run into some annoying app bridge error, I've gotten blocked on them before. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. I don't want to understand what's happening. This should just work and be abstracted away. But it's been one of those painful debug sessions.
I'm not a master. I didn't write it, but they had really detailed docs back in the day because they expected you to write your own auth back then. Right. And they gave you these flow charts and understanding when the OAuth stops, when the session and the app bridge starts. It was very, very intricate. And since then they're we can't be reasonably expecting devs to know all this just to get their foot in the door. That's kind of crazy. We're going to make it even simpler, which is the right move for sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So, okay. So you posted that you were working on the hardest, most dynamic application ever. What is this?
In my history, yes. I am not a tenor developer.
It's a to-do app.
Yeah, exactly. It's Calendly revisited. No, the problem that I've faced is over the years, I've created all these scripts that manage the app and do things that as the app becomes more complex, your service becomes more complex, you need to have these ways of checking accounts or updating accounts or registering webhooks or registering scripts, what have you. They could be Shopify related. They could be database related. They could be some third party service, like an email
Right.
service provider. So like you end up
Right.
making like literally hundreds of scripts. The problem with that is you're now tied to your laptop, and the RVing tiny house me that wants to go to the beach
Right.
or anywhere, like all of a sudden you're married to your laptop and this is your full-time thing, which is
Right.
fine. That's like part of the deal. But at the same time, there has to be a better way of, okay, here is my remote web interface. I don't want to rebuild it from scratch. I don't want to use a tool like Retool, which is, going back to your Shopify Flow description of like a no-code tool where it's like
Right.
lots of pointing and clicking, debugging is a pain. It's expecting you to be not that smart. My idea
It's
was
the worst.
It's the worst. So my idea was like, why not
Running into some stupid limitation that like, you can only loop over X amount of what like I can't.
Yeah. We're too developer. We're just too developer for that solution. We don't have the patience to like sit there and like click, wait, click, wait. No, we could type or at least have Claude or whatever do it. We're just so spoiled and like that. But anyway, like I was thinking, well, the CLI things I've been writing have like params, and they have params with descriptions like shop name, time frame, from to, whatever. Those can translate into web components. Why not build a plugin for my command tool of choice that reads all the parameters, all the commands, and creates a UI for a web server? Then you can host a web server and you can customize it to, they can log in, you can customize it to fit the layout you want. So like a Shopify plugin that has the context of the shop that you want to interact with, and all of a sudden it has all of these easy, mobile-friendly options to retrieve the current subscription status, view webhooks, view script tags, look up a product, look up a specific order, all these things that are easy to do with the CLI once you have the database and their tokens.
Right.
It's just like a pain in the butt to like do that on the go in real life.
Like on a phone or something.
On a phone, because your phone is with you all the time. Customers can ping you all the time.
Right.
Yes, you could go hire a support agent somewhere. You could do that. Yes. It's going to be more expensive. If someone just built an open source thing that you could self-serve, do a better job because you know the system really, really, you're the builder of the system. So that you could solve the problem even quicker. So that's my grand vision.
Cool.
I've started building it. Like I've built the web server and the UI part. But what I want to do is make it like Shopify friendly, where you can pick the merchant and then all those options like that are common, getting the subscription status, like the normal API type things. Those are like native. And then you can add your own CLI scripts. The framework I use is called OCILF. It's by Salesforce. Okay. It's a Node CLI tool, but you can basically register all these scripts with the parameters and options and flags, blah, blah, blah. And then you can bubble those up. So if you add your own custom scripts that are not Shopify related, it would be smart enough to be like, okay, these are kind of like in the junk drawer of utils and whatever. Right. But there's so much more to it because you have to worry about the data, like direct database integrations or API integrations. What's safer? Right. Do you want an audit trail of these actions that are admin level actions? So like, yeah, it gets complex. Do you want a third-party app to integrate your database directly? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah. That's cool. So you could basically like, I build out a bunch of those exact same CLIs. I use Commander is the node library I use.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah. And then you can feed it back in. Like I'm running a Claude session and it's testing something and I say, no, it's wrong. And I copy and paste the details so it knows why it's wrong. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why am I copying and pasting something from a product page? If I build a CLI out, I can tell it to use a CLI and they can figure it all and multiply that times whatever. And then it can figure it all out on its own. Or even just for me to test something. Like it's just so much. I love it so much. Like little CLIs.
Yeah. And you have like a common interface between all of them, like -S is clearly shop name.
Yeah.
And but the problem with using CLI only is it's kind of a pain to like, you're going to have multiple follow-up commands. Like, all right, get the shop details. All right, wait. I need to look at this specific order. All right, pass in the same shop name again. if it was a web UI, at least you can have that context kind of like in the background, like cached in a way. And then it's
Right.
easy just do this quick one-off kind of operations. So that's my grand vision.
That's cool, man. It's funny, man. Like I keep thinking about like what are all the invisible like effects of, and would you say that like Claude Code and stuff is giving you more bandwidth to work on these different projects you've mentioned?
Yeah, definitely. I'm still very cautious when it comes to AI. I don't try to like drive the ball. Like I'm just doing like putts and like little pitches. I'm treating it like the dumbest junior engineer possible. But this time I let it be like, okay, you cook up the web interface with all these components that translate CLI params into React components. Like you go hog crazy on that. I don't care, whatever.
Right.
And it did pretty well. But when it comes like the auth and things like that, I just don't trust it as much.
Right.
But that piece right there would have taken so long to like make a mapping of the various different types of data types to a React component.
Right.
I would have taken months. I mean, like not months, but it's taken a long time.
It's certain types of things in particular. You go like, I would have spent so much time on that. I just wouldn't have done it. Like I wouldn't have added the documentation help text links on this modal, as I would have just made it a basic modal, and I would have had the bandwidth to think about those little extras,
like progress indicators.
Yeah. Like a million things. It's like, I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea, actually.
Using a lot for the pod too, like editing for you, like beyond just like coding. Like, is that possible?
There's a bunch of tools. I've tested out some of them. I might not be using the latest and greatest stuff. I don't know, but shout out to our editor, RJ. He's awesome. He's been great with it. It took a little back and forth of like, oh, don't do it this way, do it that way, but he just like handles it now. And it's kind of cool. But I did build out a little tool for making clips, but it's not fully automated. It's like, I'll have it give a GPT prompt for like, what are some interesting ideas from this transcript, or what are some interesting clips? And then I can look at them and go, okay, I like that idea. And then I can pass in that timestamp that it gave me into another thing that'll generate like a little video. So I've done a little.
Oh, that's cool.
But
so it can generate the video itself, like using, is there like a pipe? FFmpeg can make a video too. It's not just for like cutting and all that stuff. Okay.
Right. Yeah. It's wild, dude. Cause I used FFmpeg like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. I had some use case. I mean, that was at the time when it's like everybody's making these video sites and it's like, I don't know how they're doing all this. And I ran into some issue with it, troubleshooting it, and I just kind of threw in the towel.
It's hard.
Fast forward. Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's like, if your life depended on it, could you figure it out? Yes, of course. But like the priority for whatever the reason is you're looking at it just wasn't high enough to justify going from like, I'm going to spend 4 hours banging my head against the wall to like, I'm going to spend 25. And then this time around, like, I mean, I still spent quite a bit of time on it. And like, if somebody wasn't wanting to figure it out, I could easily see them kind of giving up on it. But it was just cool that it could like, just figure shit out, put all the parameters into FFmpeg, the way. And then a couple times it had a mistake, you tweak it, but that's just cool.
There was another one that was like a little bit older. It's literally React. You can make React produce video.
Really?
It's like React code.
Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
I've had this crazy idea once of making like taking mermaid charts and passing it to this thing, make them like actually animated.
Nice.
I forget what it's called. I mean,
cool idea, dude.
Back then, it would have taken me too long, but now.
Yeah, it would have taken a lifetime back then, dude.
Yeah. Video generator. It's by Facebook. Facebook made it. Remotion. That's what it's called. Make videos programmatically.
That's wild. Yeah, but I was going to say, going back to the tool you're building to like help you, basically deal with your SaaS business like on the go. It's like, I've been thinking like, what are all the invisible effects of AI? Cause it's like, you see the splashy headlines, you see the like, whatever, these big acquisitions and things like that. And then in your personal life, like you see how you're more productive. Like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting done 3 or 4, or now I can work on this side project that I wouldn't have had the bandwidth to work on. And then also multiply that times like all the bad guys, all the black hats are also getting done like 10 times more. So like there's going to be a lot like more bad shit happening. And like, that's just like a little example with you. Like, obviously you've been incredibly productive to date. You got an app that does well, but it's like now you have the bandwidth to make this thing so that like you can relax a little bit more when you're traveling. And like, that's just cool. You know, it's just fucking cool.
It's a capacity increase, not just for your time, but also the complexity of things you can take on, which is really cool.
Right. Exactly. And in some ways, I don't even know if it's complexity per se. Like, for example, I did like a little iPhone app using Swift. And it's like, I never would have done that before. And it's not necessarily that it's complex. It would have been hard and time consuming for me just because I'm not used to the language. I'm going to have to learn all the little things of, no, you don't do a bracket this way. You do it that way. All the muscle memory stuff. But I'm like, it's kind of like from first principles, like it's kind of a good thing that there isn't all this friction in the way of like using a language you wouldn't have used. Or like if somebody builds FFmpeg, they're building it as a library to be consumed. Like the only reason there's ever problems with it is because there's like leaky abstractions in it and things don't work the way they're supposed to. But like it shouldn't be hard to use tools that people create to be used. Now
that's the thing. Like, dude, it's the future. Like right now we've been optimizing for tools that people use, right? Like React is the most person friendly way to make complex applications on the front end. But maybe the future isn't people friendly. So therefore like the lowest level language and the most like hard to use interface, but it doesn't matter because the context window is going to be so large. You're going to be optimizing for performance.
It's so hard to predict how things are going to play out in terms of that, in terms of what language you're going to be, what's pay going to be like, what's blah, blah. It's so hard to play those things out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's like,
it could be a fork or not. It could be a hard fork in the road, or it could be React was the last ever human friendly UI component library. You know, like we start or Svelte or like whatever the current generation is. Like this was the last one. We're done. Now it's back to the bare metal.
Interesting.
You know, like let's go back to vanilla because AI can read it.
And I think this can be true for a very, very long time. Even if AI is doing, like, let's say AI is doing, I don't know, 80% of my code. I mean, you know, sometimes you have to spend, I don't know what the percentage is, but when it gets to 100%, it still is going to be very important for people to be able to understand the code. Unless it goes the route of just verifying the code. Like maybe there's going to have to be some high level, and not even high level, like the correct level abstraction for someone to go into the system and go, okay, I need to understand how this is working, that's working. So it's better that it was React than if it was all just vanilla.
Yeah. You know? I guess the future I'm describing is if what in the future it does go to 100% AI, then you're literally just going to feed it bug reports. And as long as all the tests pass, given these new bug reports, it fixes the bug. You know what I mean? Like, what does it matter what is underneath?
You know what would be crazy if like a new language or like document format emerged that was just a product requirements document? Like that became like the actual language that like mapped into some super lower level language or something like that.
Yeah. Like Bubble, all those people got it wrong. It's Atlassian's right. We're going to Jira tickets all the way down. It's just going to be as a merchant. I click this. I click that. I click that. And it just like, it generates all the stuff. And that's the future. Congratulations, product managers. You've won. Congratulations. You're on top of the food chain.
And then I'm like, are the product managers going to be doing it all? Or are the developers going to have to become the product manager? You know, like, it's so hard to predict how it's going to go.
You kind of feel like one as you're like dictating these multiple Claude instances around of like, all right, kid, these are the 3 things I want you to do. Very specific. Please don't do it this way. Do it this way.
Yeah.
Look at this code. You're like basically instructing a very, very junior engineer. It could just type way faster than you ever could.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I treat it most of the time.
Yeah. It's so weird because I don't work with other developers too much. But about, I don't know, 8 months ago or so, I was on a project where there was a front end developer doing some work and I had architected out the thing I wanted them to do. I was building out the API. They were supposed to do on the like Liquid and Alpine JS side, like integrating with the API. So I was like, okay,
Cool.
I'd be like, cool, here's what you should do. And they would just mess things up. Like it was so frustrating. So then I'd sometimes dip in and do it all myself for one thing, but then I didn't do it for the whole thing. So it was just fast forward today. I'm working on that same code base now. And it's such a strange feeling to be like talking to Claude about doing stuff in that same code base that my last memory was this other developer. It's the only instance of that for me where it's like this code base. I have this direct memory of like an actual developer. And I'm like, it is so much nicer working with
Really?
Claude as, yeah. And it's like, it's a very bizarre feeling.
Oh man. I don't know. I think it's opportunities too for the juniors because it's not so hard anymore because of that, what
Oh
you're
yeah.
saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
Oh
good thing in
yeah.
a
I
way.
mean, 100%. I feel like if I was, and I heard somebody say it to this effect, it's like if you're just getting out of college, you're super AI native, whether that's with code, not with other types of tools. Like if you're 3 months ahead of the curve right now, like let alone a year ahead of the curve, which is probably most of us in tech compared to the general public, if not 2 years ahead of the curve, like the amount of value you can have is off the charts. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, AI engineer is like a new job title, which is
oh, is it really?
fictitious. You know, I mean, I'm getting like random recruiter emails about being an AI engineer, so I assume it's a real thing now.
And not in the sense of like working on machine learning, like in the sense of being a Claude code engineer type of thing.
Yeah, like cloud code engineer or finding ways to basically facilitate AI in some process before that involved a human. Categorization is probably the biggest
Right.
one. Like any kind of business process that in the past, like someone had to give some kind of like, they have to like as a router basically.
Mhm.
That probably is subject to automation of some sort. Just depends.
Yeah.
I've noticed if I tell the AI, like, give me your confidence level, it'll always give me 95. Just like, okay, you have no concept of that.
It's so bad at that. It's so bad at certain things. It's crazy. It's so weird to me when I think about that. I'm writing this huge paragraph of things and I'm trying to visualize in my head how this is a vector database. I still don't quite understand them, but I saw like a visualization of them and I was like, oh, I think I get it a little bit more now. So I try to imagine that and I'm like, how? Like it doesn't, it's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's so many dimensions. I mean, I think the part that like hiccups me is like understanding which vector store. There's different options to use, like cosine versus. I'm not even sure of all of them. Like, how do you know which one to even use for the problem at hand?
Ah, dude, I've tried a couple. Cloudflare has a little vector thing that's kind of easy to spin up. I tried some other one. Neither of them did a good job for like podcast search. And then I used Notebook LM for it. It was incredible. It blew me away how good it was.
Not just
Just like,
not just like looking up some kind of like topic and asking to make a podcast, like dragging and dropping a podcast in.
yeah, like I dragged all my episode transcripts in. And like, so when I was building my own little vector thing, an example of a question I wanted to ask was, what are some Shopify apps we've talked about? Cause I know it's one of those things like we've talked about throughout. I can remember a few top of mind. I'm sure there's other I've sort of forgotten about. It's like a cool little list. And so that was the question I'd ask. And it would just give me like 5 results that like, I know it's missing tons of stuff. And then I did it on Notebook LM. It gave me 5 pages it must have given me, I don't know, 100 mentions, which in my head, I was like, I don't think we've mentioned more than maybe like 10 apps tops, but like there was a ton of them. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It just blew me away. Like it's a cool thing to be able to search across like conversation context, you know?
Huh. That's really cool. I haven't
Yeah.
thought to try that. Like I tried it originally. I was like, make me a podcast about topic about my industry, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Is it okay? It's kind of cheesy.
Yeah, I did one on the Shopify forums and it kind of blew me away, but I was like, I'm not going to actually listen to this. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Like,
But
give
I
me the
think,
change log. Put me to sleep.
yeah. Yeah, I should definitely be listening to the changelog. That's a great idea. Is that what you did? Did you?
No, I just literally, as we're talking about, like, yeah, the community, thought about the change log is probably the next best thing to
Yeah,
tune into.
that's a great idea. Because with the community forums one, like it would talk about some posts, which, like, if you look at the homepage of the forums, you're really not interested in all 20 of them. But like, there's probably maybe 3 to 5 that like a good audio podcast style overview would be interesting. But with the change log, almost everything would be good. Would be good. It just feels like it could flow into a podcast
Yeah.
really well. But the way they conversationalize stuff is incredible. I mean, and I can imagine a future where I actually listen to that shit like every single day. And that's going to be so strange.
Yeah. I would take that over most podcasts I listen to. Most of them are pretty garbage. When you actually take a step back and be like, this is the news you want to report right now? Like, does this help me? How? I don't understand.
This is a waste of human potential.
I think I want the community forums more to be like a notification if there's an outage that's unreported.
Yeah.
Check out extensions are down. Like,
Right.
I need to know that right now to let my people know. Guys, it's not me. Guys, it's not me.
Right. How fast do you reply to emails? Do you have to get back to them right away?
I have this like weird thing with customer support that I try to be on top of it very quickly. Like, I will answer any email within an hour at tops. Hence me fixating on this like it's probably no one else is probably wanting this. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, why would you want to be tuned in on your phone? Like, well, dude, if I'm at the beach with my family or at the theme park or whatever, like,
Yeah.
it's my one device and I want to solve people's problems quickly. It also leads to review opportunities. To me, it's like, it's a business thing.
Yeah.
It's not like I want to. It's that,
Yeah.
no,
No,
take it serious.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, if I'm a customer of an app, that is what I want. Like, it's impossible not to want that. But like, as a person, I would want to try to avoid having to do that. But that's the thing, is that the people that are successful with apps, they're not lazy. You're putting in the work. And I do think the whole review situation incentivizes, like, you have to, like, I feel like you build more long-term value, like, without having to worry about the like reviews in that sense. But it's such a strong incentive that, like, it makes sense for you to prioritize it as heavily as you do. And then,
it's the best system they've come up with so far. It's pretty antiquated. This thing could be automated. It could be based off of like average retention. It could be based off of average revenue. They have all these metrics under the hood. It's just that the review system, there's no reason to go off of it. And like you said, like, it's a powerful incentive for apps to provide support that's above and beyond. Yeah. I'm cool with it. I like providing it. Like, I like solving people's problems. I think it's really fun because, again, my friends and family have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. So when someone's into it as much as I am, like, great, cool. I get to help somebody else. It's just a good feeling.
Yeah, I built an app back when I was doing Magento stuff, and it was my full-time thing for a few years. But I got to the point where I would have I'd be like respond within 24 hours kind of a thing. And then I'd do my emails in batches and stuff. And if a bug came up or something, I'd have to jump on it, even if I was on vacation or something like that. But
how did that work out? Do you notice any like big difference between switching to that policy? Like, was there anything significant?
It was the kind of thing that was like, at the time, it was hard to make that decision because I was like, oh, people are going to get upset, blah, blah, blah. But once I did it, I realized like it was actually fine. It like didn't really matter. But the big difference there is that there was a Magento like app store. I don't think I even got most of my business through that at all because it was different. Like, it was self-hosted. So you weren't as dependent on that. And like, now I fast forward to now, like, that's my goal. I want to get an app going again. But part of me wonders if I really don't want to do support stuff so quickly I think I'm not like built for that. And so I wonder if I have the composition, like psychological composition to like be successful in the Shopify app store, because it does seem like you fucking gotta be very, very fast.
I don't know. Like my app integrates with checkout, and it also merchants that have require for every single order, or it blocks fulfillment, and that impacts their customers. So my app is kind of like mission critical.
Wow.
So other apps aren't. Like some developers I know, like the ones I was telling you about, where they can just like not check their email for weeks.
Right.
They are like a blog integration where like, oh no, the styling isn't exactly correct because you have some competing theme thing. Is that a mission critical problem? Most likely not. Like one day response time, totally fine.
Gotcha.
But if you're touching things that are directly in operations, you could probably charge a whole lot more money. I hope you do, because the burden of support and the responsiveness expectation is like all caps email. What's your phone number? Like, what is going on? It's just different expectations.
No, that makes complete sense. And I hadn't realized that you were in the critical path of checkout.
For some.
Yeah.
Some it's before checkout, some it's after.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. Because that's the whole thing with Shopify is they take away that whole, like with Magento, it's like checkout's always down. Like everybody that did any work at all was, responsible for checkout issues. And it's like, it's kind of beautiful to not have to deal with that. But like you're in that critical path, which is like, that's a lot to bite off.
I didn't realize
probably a reason why you don't have a ton of competitors and stuff,
Yeah. It's the very small amount of merchants that need this level of security, but when they do, it's oftentimes they have to have it, or it's the stakes are way too high. Like it's $1,000 plus piece of furniture, or drones, or wigs, hair wigs, whatever,
or like THC weed.
That's the high volume, low cost per ticket, but it's mission critical too.
Right.
Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah.
But I want to hear more about, like, I remember speaking with you at like Unite. You mentioned the Magento days, and like I've heard in the pod, like in the past, you mentioned that you had this streak of having this Magento app. Like, what did it do? What? Yeah, tell me the story behind it.
Oh yeah, it was an email automation app. So it was like automated abandoned cart review request emails and stuff like that. Yeah, I was called Mage Mail, and I was doing it for 3 years or so. As I was making like significantly more money than I, had made, with as an employee. And it was working out pretty well. And I only hired like a, part-time customer support. That was really all I ever did. I wasn't good at really growing it. And I think I got kind of overwhelmed by technical debt builds up. And then you're like, this part of the system is a mess. I don't know when I'm going to clean it up or whatever. Like, okay, let me try to just make a brand new version and get halfway through it and not finish it. And I don't know, so I ended up having a small acquisition on that. And then I worked on like a hiring marketplace type of a thing for a few years. Yeah, so I was like self-employed. Like the hiring marketplace was like it was meant to be like Upwork for Magento type of thing, and then it's called Commerce Hero, and then it kind of morphed into like just recruiting by email, which was kind of weird because I was like, I kept getting more and more people wanting to hire full time versus contract roles, and then like I just would like post a LinkedIn message, get some referrals, email them over, and just build a credit card manually. And then it was like one point doing like even better than my last app did.
Amazing.
And I got really like lazy. Like I was working like an hour a day. I wouldn't check email, and I would just check email, and then that was it. And I stopped coding. Like I just like stopped wanting to code. Like I wasn't keeping my skills up. I had no interest in it. I was like learning to surf in Costa Rica and stuff like that.
What? That's cool.
But then I don't know what kind of happened, but I started like the business was kind of going down, and I wasn't like, I wasn't putting, there's no such thing as passive income, like if you're not putting into it one way or another, to grow, like it's going to kind of die eventually. And that's kind of just what happened. It just played out over a few years. And then I would be like, okay, I need to sit down and, get back focused on this again and get this curve going back in the upward direction. I just didn't care enough. Like I wasn't motivated enough to do it. And I was kind of feeling like depressed, and it was weird, man. Like my motivation was like lower and lower. And this was even when I was making like pretty good money with it, but the trend was going down. It was going down. It had gone down from like 50 grand a month down 40, 30. And it's like, you're making solid money, but you see the direction it's going, and you feel like, I felt like I lost the ability to like be motivated enough to fucking ramp it back up. And, and I think it might have been related to like testosterone. I ended up getting on testosterone replacement therapy, and which, it that helps with a number of things. It helps with your drive, like motivation. It's not just like muscle growth, like it helps with that too. But I feel like it really helped me because I think I was fucking like getting to like progressively more depressed and demotivated. And that was kind of how it showed up in the business.
Yeah. Like our profession's so funny. Like we were in front of the desk for, hours. Most, like a good part of your waking day is in front of a computer. Right. And you have to make up for that lack of activity, the lack of like pushing your body in one way or another somehow. Right. If you don't, like, right. It's just not good.
You really do. Yeah. For so long, I would just work, you're at like hour number 7 at the computer. You're just running on fumes. And like, I'm very consistent now of taking those exercise breaks, and it consistently helps me like reset my head and get focused again. And it's like the idea of living without that seems just insane to me now.
Mm-hmm. But these young guns can do it. They can sit at that computer for like 12 hours, 15 hours for like weeks on end. They have no hip issues or hip flexors or, like knees. These youngins.
Right, exactly. I know. That's great. How old are you, by the way?
I am just turned 35.
Okay. So you are a young gun.
I don't feel like it anymore. I don't feel like it. So that down here right at the beach, I skimboarded when I was like, 12, 13. I was pretty into it. And the house we rented had one in the garage, and I was like, oh boy, let's break this thing out. The first run I try, I like get my like pinky toe / like pinky finger like underneath my foot. And I think I straight up broke it. I might have broken it. I don't know. I've definitely messed up a ligament for sure, but I've just never felt that. I felt that before ever. All the falls I've taken, I'm like, oh man, I am getting old that it hurts this bad. I can't believe I did this. But I kept on doing whatever. It's fine. I'll figure it out when I get home. But like, yeah, I'm like, oh man, I'm fragile now. Like I can't just pick up again.
Right. Yeah.
I think I've maybe got like 3 more years of this left in me. But I wish I would have known from like 2021 to now. This window is only so big, man. You can only do so much BMX or like skateboarding or whatever, and then it's
right.
And then the stakes are pretty high.
Did you do that type of stuff? Like BMX?
Yeah. I did BMX. I raced BMX. I broke both my arms. Yeah, because there's a Akron BMX. Shit. Akron BMX is at racetrack. My dad and I did it together. Man. Now my son's doing it, so I'm taking him down. It's pretty awesome. So I take him down.
Dude, that's so cool, man.
Yeah. And then snowboarding, skateboarding, skimboarding. Surfing.
Nice.
Surfing is so funny to me because you're like driving with your left foot, which is the exact opposite of snowboarding. So I've only done it once.
You go snowboarding a different do than surfing?
Well, I mean, is like when you're turning or carving, you're like, I feel like you're pushing with your back foot, like you're pushing and pulling.
I see what you mean.
When surfing, surfing feels like to me like you're using your left foot. If you're regular footed, like you're kind of like pushing and pulling just the opposite foot than what is natural to me.
Dude, it's so funny because I literally just like I'll visualize, remember like when I surfed and stuff like that, and like from time to time. But I just tried to visualize like how my feet feel when I'm surfing, and I can't remember like the actual because it's been like
emotion,
a year and a half or 2 years. Yeah, like I can't remember the sensation on my feet because it's been like I've been using I use my one wheel a lot.
Oh, you mean like you're leaning forward, like at the one wheel thing?
You should try that if you never try that. They're fucking amazing. It's the closest thing to snowboarding on cement that I could ever imagine.
I tried it once. I didn't take it to the limit. I could see how it's really fun.
Dude. Yeah, but I use that a lot. I can feel the sensation right now if I try to think about it, but it's been so long since I surfed, which sucks. Like oh God. I just want to disappear, dude, for like months. And
Do they have in Austin? I think you're in Austin, right?
Yeah.
Oh, do they have like indoor, like the wave generator things?
I think there used to be one in Austin that closed down, and there's one in Waco, but I haven't been up there, but I'm planning to get up there. Did you meet William Belk at Editions? He's cool, man. He's actually just moved to Dallas from California or something. And anyways, we talked about meeting up at the Waco because it's like halfway between us. We talked about meeting up there to go surfing. It just made me think about it.
That'd be awesome. I mean, Houston's probably still pretty far from you, I'd imagine. That's the closest beach, Sean, right?
Right. And the waves there are, they're not.
Oh, no? Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. They're like not great.
Well, I have Lake Erie, so like you can surf it in the winter. That's the only time you can surf it, really. Yeah, there's winter surfers in the Great Lakes. Shit. Yeah, man. They should see the pictures. They have like icicles coming off their beards. They're coming out of the water.
That's insane. How big are the waves?
They can get up to like 4 or 5 feet, depending.
No shit? In a lake?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lake that's the size of, a sea. It's huge.
That's crazy.
You can also, like during a storm, you can surf it. It's just like very dangerous. Like the riptides are still there. They're real. And on top of that, like this is kind of gross, but all of the sewer systems, if they get overwhelmed and during a storm, they dump into the lake right where you're surfing. Wow. So if you fall, paddleboard's safe. Paddleboard is more safe in general.
Right. Yeah. I've been paddleboarding lately and it's fun, but it's fucking slow, like
good core.
I want to move faster, right? Yeah. Good core. That's what I'm mostly excited about is my lats and my core. Like
that's why you're getting old. Like, oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah. But I do enjoy going out. I just wish I could go about 4 times as fast.
What about those hydrofoils things? Those like surfboards that like ride above?
Dude, I know a guy that has a rental place, and I want to rent one of those to use out here on the lake. So, dude, that would be so fun. Dude.
There you go.
Do that one day. Yeah,
it's close. That's fine.
Yeah, I think it's like $350 or $400 an hour or something like that.
They're probably brand new, 1,000. So, if you like it, then it's pretty easy to get a new one.
I'm pretty sure that I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure they were like $8,000 minimum.
Oh, really?
For fucking, yeah, dude. Electric foil boards. Yeah, dude.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're cheaper.
It'd be direct to AliExpress or something that's a little bit cheaper.
Right. Yeah, it is crazy how some of these things that they're doing direct sale from TikTok or whatever, like they're charging like, I don't know, like 3 for like 4% of the price or like less than 10% of the retail price. And it's like, how do they have these margins? This is crazy.
Yeah. This whole paradigm, it's kind of built on the retail being at the, like in the language and the locale of us.
Yeah.
But in the marketing of us.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised it's taken that long for direct to come up. Like, it's not like the internet's a new thing.
Yeah, it is kind of surprising, actually. I guess it just takes, and it's funny because even now, like, there'll be some like TikTok where it's like a Chinese lady like singing a song, and she's like in a factory that sells tires or something like that. And she's like, "We sell tires." You cannot tell if it's a joke or not. But like, regardless of whether it's a joke, it like I'm sure it works because it's driving eyeballs to them. Like, they're a tire manufacturer trying to sell direct or something crazy like that. So it's insane.
I love those honest marketing ploys, like the real estate, the newest trend of real estate agents going into houses being like, "You can't afford this. Why are you watching this video? This piece of shit wants to charge you $700,000 for this kitchen has been updated since the 90s," or like whatever. They're just going through, just like ragging on it. And of course, it probably sells the next day. It doesn't matter. It still sells.
Right. I think I saw one of those. I think I did see one of those. Yeah, that was a trip.
Yeah.
I've seen some weird, like real estate related little TikTok videos where there'll be like an agent doing like some goofy thing or something like non-standard. Anyways, man, I think we're about at our time, dude, but this is cool, man. What do you got going on for the rest of the weekend?
I mean, tonight's our last night, so we're gonna hang out at the beach for a little bit and then fly back tomorrow, back to reality.